Let me begin by telling you a truth most men will never understand. Money is not earned first. It is imagined first. Wealth does not begin in your hands. It begins in your awareness. Every skyscraper, every empire, every fortune that has ever existed began as a single image in someone's mind. The men who built railroads, invented industries, created dynasties, they were all dreamers, but not the kind that just wish. They saw what others could not see, and they believed it into existence long before the world gave them proof. That is the great secret. You do not attract wealth by chasing it. You attract it by vibrating at the same frequency as it. And here is where most fail. They think their problem is lack of money, but in truth, it's lack of imagination, lack of identity, lack of emotional alignment. This is what I've spent my life studying: the psychology of abundance, the mental blueprint that separates the rich from the struggling. So today, I will take you through 4 steps, not theories, not tricks, but laws. Laws that govern vibration, emotion, and manifestation itself. Because when you understand them, you will no longer ask how to get rich. You will become the kind of person to whom wealth has no choice but to respond. Let's begin with the first and most important truth. Wealth starts in imagination. Let me tell you something that will sound radical. No one ever became rich by working hard alone. Let me repeat that, because your mind has been trained to resist it. No one ever became rich by working hard alone. Wealth begins in a place far deeper than labor. It begins in imagination. Before Rockefeller touched oil, he saw empires. Before Ford built the assembly line, he saw movement. Before Edison gave light to the world, he saw light in his own mind. Every fortune that exists today was once nothing but a picture held in someone's imagination. You see, most people live their lives reacting to what already is. They wake up, see their circumstances, and let that dictate what they can or cannot imagine. But the wealthy, the truly wealthy, do the opposite. They build the future internally before a single dime appears externally. They do not wait for proof. They become the proof. Let me share with you a story, one you've probably heard but never understood. When Andrew Carnegie was still a poor Scottish immigrant, he used to stand outside the mansions of Pittsburgh's elite. He would gaze at the grand doors, the marble columns, and say to himself, "Someday I will live in a house like that. Not because I want the house, but because I want to know how a man creates such a life." At that moment, he wasn't chasing wealth. He was aligning with it. His imagination began to stretch beyond his poverty. And that, my friends, is the real beginning of fortune. The reason most people remain broke isn't because they lack talent or intelligence. It's because they lack mental permission. Their imagination is bound by the limits of their past. They say, "Who am I to dream that big?" And the universe, being obedient, replies, "As you wish." You see, your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant within it, with emotion and repetition begins to take root. If you plant fear, you harvest delay. If you plant doubt, you harvest limitation. But if you plant a vivid picture of wealth, one that you can feel, see, smell, your subconscious begins to rewire itself to make that picture real. It's not magic, it's psychology. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. So when you hold an image with enough emotion, your nervous system begins to act as though it is already true. You walk differently. You talk differently. You attract opportunities that align with that version of you. And suddenly, people call you lucky. But there is no luck, only alignment. I remember writing Think and Grow Rich and asking every great industrialist the same question. What was the turning point of your fortune? And do you know what most of them said? It wasn't a deal or an inheritance or a connection. It was a decision, a single moment when they decided to no longer think like a poor man. They stopped seeing money as something outside to chase and started feeling wealth as something within to express. Because here's the paradox. You do not get rich to feel abundant. You feel abundant, and that state makes you rich. Wealth is not a number. It's a frequency. And imagination is the tuning fork. When you close your eyes and see yourself living abundantly, when you feel gratitude for money before it comes, you are transmitting a signal that says, I am ready. I am already there. That is how the mind turns invisible ideas into visible success. So I ask you now, what are you imagining every day? Do you imagine lack or luxury? Fear or freedom? Because whatever dominates your imagination dominates your vibration. And whatever dominates your vibration becomes your life. So if you wish to change your outer world, do not start with effort. Start with image. Create a vision so strong, so emotionally charged, that your mind has no choice but to move your body toward it. See it before you see it, or you will never see it. And remember this law. You are not paid for the hours you work. You are paid for the clarity of the vision you hold while you work. That is why two men can labor the same number of hours. One remains poor, and the other becomes a millionaire. The difference is not action. It is imagination connected to belief. So let your imagination run wild again. Not with fantasy, but with faith. Because all wealth is born twice. First in your mind, then in your reality. Now that you've begun to awaken your imagination, it's time to understand the second key. Because imagination alone is not enough. You must anchor it to your identity. So how do you begin? How do you turn imagination into a reality so solid that money bends in your direction? Step one, you must reclaim authority over your identity. Because here's a truth you've never been told plainly. You will never attract a fortune that contradicts who you believe yourself to be. You can visualize millions. You can affirm wealth 1,000 times. But if deep down you still see yourself as someone trying to become rich, you are vibrating lack. And lack can only attract more of itself. Every result in your life, every number in your bank account, every opportunity, every closed door is simply a mirror reflecting your self-concept. The mind does not create beyond what the self-image allows. If your self-image is small, your success will shrink to fit it. If your self-image expands, your reality must expand to match it. So I ask you, who are you internally? Do you see yourself as a struggler, a survivor, someone chasing stability? Or do you see yourself as a creator, a channel through which abundance flows? Because there is a world of difference between wanting money and being wealth. When you want, you confirm separation. When you be, you confirm unity. And the universe always gives more of what you are being. A young man once came to me after a lecture. He said, "Mr. Hill, I've tried every method in your book, affirmations, visualization, gratitude, but still I'm poor." I looked at him and asked, "Who do you believe you are?" He said, "I am a poor man trying to become rich." And I told him, that is your problem. You are trying to become what you already believe you are not. He was affirming wealth from the identity of poverty, like dressing a beggar in a tuxedo and expecting the world to salute him as a king. You must burn that old identity to the ground. Every thought that says, "I can't," every memory of failure, every label society glued to your forehead, let it die. Because until you shed the old self, the new one cannot emerge. And your new self, your wealth identity, must be built consciously. When I studied the great millionaires, I realized something shocking. They all spoke as though they were wealthy before they ever became wealthy. They didn't just say someday. They said, "I am." One man who had nothing but a single suit and a rented room told me, "I already feel rich. My wealth simply hasn't caught up to me yet." He carried himself like a man of prosperity, his posture, his tone, his gratitude. Within a year, opportunities found him. Not because of chance, but because he no longer radiated poverty. You cannot pretend wealth. You must embody it. You must speak as though the bank balance has already risen. Walk as though the deal has already closed. Think as though the fortune has already arrived. Because your energy teaches the universe who you are long before your words do. So I ask you again, what are you broadcasting? Are you broadcasting fear, scarcity, survival? Or are you broadcasting power, gratitude, certainty? The signal you send determines what is drawn to you. You are a magnet, and your identity is the metal it's made of. Reclaim it. Redefine it. Decide right now who you are. Not tomorrow, not when the money comes, but now. Because identity is not discovered, it is declared. And the moment you declare it with conviction, Life rearranges itself to match your new vibration. That is the first transformation. You stop chasing wealth, and wealth starts chasing you. Now let's move deeper. Because once identity begins to shift, you must rewire the emotion that fuels it. And that emotion is gratitude. But every act of gratitude is far more than politeness. It is spiritual technology. When you give thanks, not after you receive, but before you receive, you are performing the highest form of wealth programming known to man. Because gratitude rewires your frequency. It trains your nervous system to notice abundance rather than absence. And the more you notice abundance, the more abundance you magnetize. Think of the mind like a radio dial. Most people have tuned theirs to the station of not enough. They wake up worrying about bills, thinking of what's missing, and then wonder why the same pattern keeps repeating. But the moment you begin to express gratitude for what is, your entire energetic broadcast changes. You stop saying, "I need more," and start saying, "I already have, and more is on the way." And the universe, like a faithful servant, replies, "As you believe." A man once told me, "Mr. Hill, I can't feel grateful. I have nothing yet." I said to him, "You have breath. You have a mind. You have potential. If you cannot thank life for these, why would it trust you with more?" That night, he began a simple ritual. Every morning, before getting out of bed, he would whisper 3 sentences. "I am thankful for my life. I am thankful for my mind. I am thankful for what's coming." Within months, his energy changed so profoundly that people began offering him chances he could not have imagined before. Gratitude shifted his magnetic field.
But here's the hidden side of gratitude. It's not only about things. It's about self-worth. You must be grateful not just for what you have, but for who you are. Because if you secretly believe you are unworthy of wealth, you will unconsciously reject every opportunity that could bring it. You'll call it bad timing, fear, or uncertainty. But in truth, it's the subconscious defending the old self-image. Gratitude dismantles that wall. It tells your subconscious, "I am already enough. I am already chosen." And when that belief sinks in, money stops being an idol you chase and becomes an ally that flows toward you. You must understand, wealth responds to emotional certainty. It cannot enter a heart clouded by self-doubt. That is why every act of gratitude, every sincere thank you, is an act of alignment. You are telling life, "I trust you. I trust myself." And trust, my friend, is the currency of creation. This is not easy work. It will require you to break generations of conditioning, to look at yourself in the mirror and bless the reflection, to forgive every mistake, every lost year, every missed chance, and still say, "I am grateful for me." That is sacred work. Because the moment you stop fighting who you are, the current of abundance can finally reach you. Gratitude heals resistance. Self-worth stabilizes vibration. Together, they create a frequency the world cannot ignore. So begin tonight. Before you sleep, list what you're grateful for, not as a task, but as a declaration that you are already living in abundance. Whisper it softly. I am thankful for what I have, and I am worthy of what's coming. Say it until it feels true. Say it until your body hums with peace, because that peace is wealth in its purest form. And once you carry that inner calm, external riches can no longer resist you. Now that you've understood the emotional current of gratitude and worth, there remains one final secret. To understand that wealth is not just thought or feeling, but an emotional signature. Let's talk about that now. Now, here's something most people completely miss. You must not just think rich, and you must not just feel wealthy. You must live wealth as an emotional signature. Every person, every place, every opportunity you encounter responds not to what you say, but to the energy you carry. Energy seeks alignment. It does not negotiate. It does not argue. It simply moves toward what matches it. Think about the greatest entrepreneurs, inventors, and leaders you admire. What do they have in common? Not just intelligence, not just vision. They have a presence, a vibration of inevitability. They feel rich before a dime touches their hands. They act abundant before the world confirms it. And they speak prosperity as naturally as breathing. This is why some people attract wealth effortlessly, while others chase it desperately and never catch it. Let me give you an example. Two men are applying for the same business deal. The first one worries, hesitates, doubts every step. The second one walks into the room radiating confidence and calm certainty. He smiles, speaks with conviction, and thanks the universe quietly in his heart. The deal goes to him, not because he is smarter, not because he offered more, but because his energy matched success. Your emotional signature is your invisible currency. It broadcasts who you are to the universe, and the universe responds accordingly. Fear, scarcity, and impatience repel wealth. Gratitude, confidence, and calm certainty attract it. Ask yourself, when people meet you, do they feel tension or ease? Do they feel doubt, or do they sense the quiet power of someone aligned with abundance? You must cultivate that energy deliberately through meditation, visualization, affirmation, but most importantly, through daily choices that reflect the person you are becoming. What you consume, what you read, watch, listen to, affects your frequency. Who you spend time with, what environments you inhabit, shapes your vibration. It is not enough to think rich thoughts occasionally. You must live wealth constantly, in every word, every movement, every emotion. The universe does not hand out money to those who want it occasionally. It responds to those who are wealth itself. And here's the most profound truth. When your emotional signature is aligned with abundance, opportunities arrive unbidden. Connections appear as if by magic. Your vision begins to manifest naturally, effortlessly. So do this sacred work. Anchor yourself in imagination. Reclaim your identity. Rewire your gratitude and self-worth. And then live your emotional signature of wealth every single day. When you do this, the world has no choice but to respond. Because energy cannot lie, cannot ignore, cannot resist alignment. It moves toward its counterpart. And that, my friends, is how ordinary men become extraordinary. That is how dreams solidify into dollars, and vision transforms into legacy. Remember, wealth is not in your bank account. It is in your mind, your heart, your vibration. When you master these, the external world simply follows. It begins with imagination. It strengthens with identity. It amplifies with gratitude. And it becomes unstoppable as your emotional signature. Ask yourself now, are you imagining, embodying, and radiating the wealth you desire? Or are you still waiting for the world to give it to you? Because the universe responds to who you are becoming, not who you were yesterday. Step into it, become it, and watch as the currents of abundance converge around you. Inevitable, unstoppable, and eternal. Now let me give you the final insight, the one most people overlook entirely. Money is not the goal. Wealth is not a number. They are the byproducts of the energy you carry, the identity you claim, the gratitude you practice, and the emotional signature you live. Think of wealth as a magnet. It does not respond to begging, scrambling, or chasing. It responds to alignment, certainty, and frequency. The truly wealthy never asked, "How can I get rich?" They asked, "Who must I become to deserve abundance?" And once they answered that question, the rest of the world could not resist. Here is the sacred rhythm of manifestation. Imagine first. Hold the picture with your mind as vividly as a photograph. Declare your identity. Speak, act, and believe you are already the person who deserves it. Gratitude rewires your emotional circuitry, preparing your body to accept more. Live your emotional signature daily. Confidence, calm, certainty, abundance, without apology. Do this, and the universe bends around you. Doors open that you never saw. Opportunities appear from places you never imagined. Fortunes manifest seemingly overnight. But the truth is, they were born long before in your mind and heart. Every empire, every innovation, every fortune started as a thought, an image, a feeling. The world simply waits for the person to become worthy of it. So I challenge you now. Stop waiting for money to arrive. Stop waiting for circumstances to validate you. Stop surrendering your power to the outside world. Instead, claim it internally. Rebuild your imagination, identity, gratitude, and emotional signature. Radiate the energy of someone who is already rich, already abundant, already unstoppable. Do this consistently, and you will notice something remarkable. The external world has no choice but to reflect the internal transformation. Money flows, opportunities appear, people align. The universe is responding to you. Remember, wealth is not an event. It is a state, and states, once mastered, are unstoppable. So I leave you with this. Master your mind. Master your heart. Master your energy. Because when you do, wealth is not something you chase. Wealth becomes who you are. And that is the ultimate secret.